Hey guys, I want to do a video today about winter squirrel hunting. I think it's a lot tougher than going out in the woods during the hot summer day or the morning, and you sit there and you can see the squirrels moving throughout the trees. Well, it's a different story in the wintertime. Wintertime, you got to figure out exactly what time they're coming out, and if you don't, you're going to be out there for a few hours and you won't see nothing. So the thing is, you want to be a little bit camouflaged. You want to be more camouflaged than in the summertime because there's no leaves on the tree depending on where you live at. And during the winter, they just sit up on the trees and bark basically. They don't move as much as they do during the summer. So what I like to do is I like to bring my squirrel call with me, my little bark call. And if I don't see anything, I'll sit there and shake it. And that makes that like chatter sound or that bark or whatever you want to call it. And you know when it's a squirrel when it sounds just like that. If you hear something way off in the woods, it sounds just like that, just sitting there going. So after that, when you do that, you just want to look around and see where it's coming from. And if you're gun sighted in, which I mean, you should, if you're using a shotgun, it's good out to like 50 yards, full choke or whatever, depending on what shotgun you use. I like to use a 410 myself if I use a shotgun. But if I'm using something for long range shooting, I like to bring my 22 long rifle with me, my Marlin Model 60 or another one of my 22s. But I usually try to have them sighted in at 75 yards. That way you can make that long distance shot. As you can see in my long distance shooting video with the squirrels that I shot, I didn't even know, like I mentioned, I didn't know I hit the first one because it was so far out I couldn't see it on the camera. All I seen was on the scope. But when I walked over there, I seen them laying a foot apart. But besides that, I mean, it's a waiting game during the winter. You just sit there and wait and see what happens. Hopefully you get lucky. And the bad part is, like I mentioned earlier, that they don't move a lot. So don't be mad or upset if you don't get 5 or whatever your bag limit is for the state. Other than that, I mean, they move though. Not as much. Like I said, they move, but you just got to catch them at the right time. Like for me, being out in the woods around 10 to noon is the best time for me that I've seen, squirrels out and about. Because ground squirrels or fox squirrels, they'll get out of their tree, go get a nut, and come back and sit there and chew on it for a little bit, and then go back into their den if they get scared or wind picks up or something like that. So, but I've noticed I went down in Yellowwood or Bloomington, Indiana to hunt squirrels, or actually deer hunting, and I was sitting there studying the squirrels while I was out there. And gray squirrels, they'll sit there and get their nuts and go back up at their tree and sit there and chew on them for a little bit. And usually the younger squirrels will be out and about, darting everywhere. So, but yeah, like I mentioned, the tips for squirrel hunting in the wintertime is being good, camouflaged. That way they can't see, because with all those leaves down off the tree, they can sit there and pinpoint you from, walking way off the distance. And you want to be patient. If you hear something, you could stalk. I usually stalk every once in a while. I'll sit down, and then if my butt gets numb, I'll get back up and start stalking the squirrel. And then you want to just make sure you got a good shot placement, or where you're shooting at, if you're using a shotgun or a rifle, and make sure your rifle's sighted in. But other than that, you want to go on a nice day. You want to go on a day that's raining. They don't like to be out in the rain. Make sure it's not too windy. Like I've noticed, I've had pretty good luck actually, from like up to 10 miles an hour wind. But other than that, they're not out because the wind's blowing too hard and they don't like the wind. So I hope these tips help. If you have any questions or comments for us, leave it on our page or comment on this video. You can subscribe, like, Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching.